This video brought to you by our Patreons. Please consider supporting this channel and joining our Patreons at patreon.com/NovaWing24. Hi there folks, my name is NovaWing24 and welcome to a little review for a product for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So today we are having a look at one of the first airport releases out of the gate from third-party developers, and we are having a look at Flyte Simulations C16 Frasca Field. Now, for those of you who might be long-term followers of my YouTube channel here, then you may think that this airport sounds familiar, and that is because fairly recently we actually looked at this airport in X-Plane 11, and the developer has taken the opportunity with the release of the new sim to try their hand at producing scenery for the Microsoft Flight Simulator as well as just X-Plane 11, and see what they could do about bringing this airport over onto the new platform. And I think overall they've done a pretty good job. So today we're going to go through, we're going to have a bit of a look through the airport and have a look at some of the cool details and some of the differences between the similarities between this and the X-Plane 11 version. And then we're going to go for a circuit around the field and the extended area to see how the developers gone with blending their photoreal imagery in with that from Microsoft. Alright, so first off, as we get started here, as we just do a quick little drone camera orbit around the field here, I do want to say thank you very much to Flyte Simulations for providing me with the review copy of this add-on today. Now, as I said, as we said before, the airport, Frasca Field, is a public use airport in Champaign County in Illinois in the US, and is actually named after essentially named because of the company that actually is headquartered sort of just over there in the distance there on the field, which is Frasca Simulations, which actually make a lot of flight simulation hardware for professional use. But this is a GA public use airport, GA airport that sees both fixed wing and helicopter movements in reasonable numbers throughout the year. It's also got a historical airport because it also has a museum present here as well in one of the hangars, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, also not modeled in the sim, but it also wasn't modeled in the X-Plane 11 version. Now, first couple of things we should probably talk about is how different is this from the one that was actually supplied by Microsoft. And the major buildings for the one supplied by Microsoft were all in the right positions. The photo reel that was taken off looks like it was a few years old, but it was still there and had most of the details. It had, as I said, it was the small details, things like it was just auto-generated buildings. It said none of this was the handcrafted stuff. This was all just automatically generated by the Black Shark AI. But it still had all the buildings in the right places. The parking spots were all in the right places. There are a couple of fairly significant differences though, and it always comes down to the small little details that because remember this airport is not for larger aircraft. This is very much a general aviation sort of small prop sort of VFR sort of destination. So as a result, there are a lot of things that are more of sort of just around the edge of the airport that have been modelled, and sort of a couple of the finer details of the airport that really sort of do make a bit of a difference with picking up this one over the default one. As I said, the default one is still fine and gives you the runway information, the taxiways are all correct. It's just some of the buildings are not quite in the right position. Probably one of the key ones to have a look at though is a couple of key changes do happen though. So the first one is that the sort of like this sort of office or admin building, that one is definitely not correct in the Microsoft default version, and this one that's supplied as part of Frasca Simulations one is the actual correct color, and it's got a lot more of the tiny little details part of it as well. So still done in beautiful high resolution and very, very, as I said, this whole scenery is very, very easy on frame, just as like its original one was. One thing that I do want to highlight that I think is really, really cool is this here. So this is new. This is definitely new. So they've actually taken a couple of Flight Simulations has actually taken a couple of the default animated people libraries that's in the sim here, and actually added them here. So actually we've actually got a pilot talking to some ground crew in front of the ops building. Like, That's a neat little thing. As I said, that wasn't in the X-Plane 11 version. That is only in this one because that's what this sim natively includes. It natively includes that sort of personnel library, the animated personnel library, which is really, really cool and actually opens up a lot more options for developers as well. A couple of little things as well, sort of like the hazard markers on the power lines there for here, because this is where the helicopter ops do take part of as well. So when we get helicopters coming through later on, the other big change of here in this rendition of the airport as opposed to the default one is the moving of the fuel location. So in the default, the fuel is sort of sitting off in the middle here, in the middle of the ramp. Whereas over here in this updated rendition, in this handcrafted rendition of it, then we do have the avgas and the LLL all sitting over here closer to the hangar, and actually with the proper ramp and all the parking marks actually all included. So you get a few additional parking areas are included with this one, with this custom rendition of the airport as opposed to the default. But as I said, otherwise the general layout is still the same, but you just get these beautiful, these sort of handcrafted details of the actual models. Now, be honest, as I said, the performance of this is absolutely exceptional. Like it is exceptional. I think it's pretty, really good. I never had any issues with it in X-Plane 11 either, so I can't really speak to whether or not this is just port over of models or whether these are new models with just similar textures applied. But either way, the clutter and everything that's come through here is beautiful in its detail, and again, perfect for sort of a perfect partner for coming through with this sim as its beautiful setup of this drone camera that we get to fly around here as well. We still have aviation fanatics enjoying their Papa John's pizza and Coke. We still have that here at the flying school and hot dog stand. So it's these little details that I love talking about and highlighting in these scenery releases, custom scenery releases. And I think a sim like Microsoft Flight Simulator really gets a chance to accentuate those things as well. Now, beyond that, as I said, we've still got the photo reels that come through here. They've updated the Frasca main headquarters building over there, but again, that one does legitimately look like it is pretty much just copied straight over. Alright, but otherwise, as I said, from ground level, it is a great rendition of the airport. So it is, as I said, the default one has all the buildings in the right places, but this one gives you accurate buildings with accurate roof shapes and accurate colours as well. Alright, let's take a moment now to climb aboard Cessna 152 as we're going to do a circuit around the airport here. So let's climb aboard and do a circuit around the field to see what it looks like from the sky and see how they blended their photo reel with the photo reel from Microsoft. Okay, now in the meantime, let's get this aircraft started and we'll go for our tour here. So what we'll do here is we'll move our yoke there. And let's see if I remember how to get this aircraft started. Okay, open fuel. Alright. Battery on, beacon on. Mixture rich. 3 pumps of the old primer. Going, alternator is on, avionics buses are on, strobes, navs are on. There we go. I did remember how to start this aircraft. That's always good. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll test my brakes. Brakes tested. Alright. Flaps set to 1. Alright, we'll park off and we'll try not to hit our pushback guy because we don't need the pushback today. So parking brake is released. So I said, what we're going to do, folks, we're going to do a bit of a circuit around the field. We're going to go a little bit further afield as well, so we can have a look and check to make sure, see how they have the developer has actually set all that in motion to be able to get all the photo reel match. Because that's of course one of the things about Microsoft Flight Simulator is the fact that the photo reel worlds that it comes with from Bing, it means that it is even more important for developers to actually sort of match all that together. Alright, so we'll do our taxi out here. We'll do it looks like we've got winds are calm, but they are blowing They are blowing from the east, so we might do a long taxi and give us a chance to check the runway. So already we can tell the taxiway definitely takes advantage of the new modelling from Microsoft in terms of the terrain, so not being a flat terrain model. So that's a good start. If I remember correctly, this is actually more models. The terrain is even the X-Plane 11 version didn't actually have the dynamic sort of the undulations in the runway and the taxiway. What I'll do is we'll taxi down and we'll depart on 09 today. Now, while taxiing, I'll make sure that my pitot heats are on. Do all my post-start checks, my taxi checks as we're going along here. Everything else looking good. Don't need our internal lights on. Alright, looking good. Oh. Looks like we shouldn't need to use the full runways. We'll use the midfield turn point here. Oh, if I can turn the aircraft properly, that'd probably be easier. There we go. All right, we'll do a midfield departure today, I think. But again, the fact that it's actually model again. So in the default, there's a giant. In the default one, there's actually a light in the middle of that turn point. So it's again, you can tell it's just little things that make it a little bit more custom. All right. Everything looking good. Let's throttle up and depart. A bit of rudder to counter the torque. Airborne. Alright, that was a rather terrible takeoff because I forgot to screw my yoke in during that, but that's okay. We fixed that now. So let's throttle back and let's have a look around the edges here. So the first thing to note is that the photoreal that's included with this is mixed when it compares to the default from Microsoft. So it does need, and this is the thing, I'm going to sound like I'm really nitpicking here, and you kind of have to sometimes, is that some of the photoreal needs a bit more cleaning up. So for example, like on the roads, it actually needs to remove some of the the traffic there. But at the same time, that comment can also be said to Microsoft as well. But the photoreal does extend all the way through the approach, sort of the corridors as well. So the photoreal actually extends beyond here. So this is all custom modeling and custom buildings through here to actually sort of model the visual aspects of coming through here. But you can actually see where it actually deviates and where it changes, so you can actually sort of see where the road changes just there, past the edge of those warehouses. That's where it sort of cuts over and moves over onto the default. So for the most part, I think they do the blending fairly well. Like most of the grass you can't see, is really the only way you can actually see it is because looking at the road markers and stuff like that. So really, for the most part, the blending that's been done has been done really, really well, and the addition of the sort of more accurate buildings, it actually makes a huge difference when you're going to these approach paths and approach corridors. Probably the biggest update set of buildings here was the accurate modelling of these two industrial sort of commercial precincts, which serve as major landmarks when you're doing a visual circuit around this field. Again, though, probably what I feel though is that this would have been a great opportunity for them to clean up some of that photo reel a little bit more. It sounds silly, but as I said, like just cleaning it up a little bit does make a bit of a difference. As I said, it's one of those things where, and it's really, really tough for me in some ways, because I look at this and I look at the amazing work that Microsoft done, and they've kept the fact that they've also used Microsoft compliant, sim compliant watermasking as well. So all the lakes that are featured as part of the photo reel, both here, both on the field and to the end, just off the field here by this commercial district, all of them accurately show the weather, so the water ripples coming over as well. So that stuff is all really, really well done, and the fact that all the little offshoot roads that feed into the Frasca warehouse as well, they are all mapped to the correct vector data as well, so it means that you do actually have animated traffic coming down those as well. So this is as I said, a lot of works. It's one of those things where it's not just a straight port over. Like, they haven't just simply gone, slapped a couple of buildings in and said, yep, that's it, we're done, put their photo reel in and they're done. They have actually paid a lot of attention and actually worked with the sim and some of its new and innovative features to actually bring it to the sim as well, which is really, really impressive, and I'm really happy to see even smaller developers coming out with this one as well. Again, probably the only one of the other smaller bugs that I have is the I believe that the windsock here on 09 is actually not quite in the right place. But again, it's minor stuff, but this is the kind of sim and this is the kind of airport that VFR pilots fly, which means that little details like that actually do make a bit of a difference. All right, what we're going to do now that we've done our circuit, we're going to go in for our downwind here. We're going to extend our flaps. We're going to come in on 09. Again, sort of seeing where the photo reel blends along that green edge there. So that's where it blends from the supplied, sort of with the with this add-on, over onto the Microsoft supplied photo reel. Base and turning final. Okay. Right. Pretty sure I turned way too early on that final, but that's all right. We're gonna land long, so we don't have as long a taxi. I think is how I'm gonna justify this one. Okay, trim it up, watching for the stall. Ease the nose down, there we go. Not bad at all. It's also the first time flying the Cessna 152 as well, so I'm fairly impressed with this one. I said fairly impressed with the aircraft, and the performance here around Frasca Field has been exactly the same, if not actually possibly smoother than it was with the default field. But it's just, and it's nice getting these little extra details. You know, the runway lighting being moved into the correct position, and with buildings now just being, especially on the approach corridors, sort of being in the right place. Couple of minor details, I think, as I said, like windsock stuff like that, so hopefully we'll see those come out in a fix very, very shortly. And this one, otherwise, yeah, this one's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this one and the work that the team has done for this one to bring it to life. Alright, so as we'll taxi back into our stop here, and we'll give our final thoughts. Now, for those who might be wondering as well, the so the white Cessna 172 there is a static aircraft that is part of this sim, whereas the other one is a AI aircraft that has spawned on board. And we'll see if we can even park back in the one that we left. How about that? go. Alright, let's stop there. We'll put our parking brake is on. Alright, turn our navs and strobes off. Mixture to cut off. Alternator off. Engine off. Battery is off. And we are all set and done. I still need to figure out what it is that triggers that sort of menu trigger. But anyway, all right, let's jump inside and final thoughts for this airfield. So Frasca Field, C16 Frasca Field from Flyte Simulations. This is a fun little GA airport, and really I've got the same sort of opinion that I had of it with X-Plane 11. I think the developers done a great job sort of bringing this airport to life. I think they're balancing the price point reasonably well as well, sort of looking around about $10 US for this one, available from SimMarket. Hopefully we'll see it coming to the Microsoft Store in the future as well. But for now it's available from SimMarket. It does have a couple of little quirks, as we've sort of highlighted here, but overall, if you're looking for somewhere to fly different, or if this is your local airstrip, or this is an airport that, as I said, you're looking for somewhere different to go for a $100 hamburger, this is going to be an airport, and I think that the way the developers come on board and embraced many of the features and the new features here as part of Microsoft Flight Simulator is really impressive, and will go a long way towards guiding other developers as they come on board. Alright folks, well that does round out my review of Frasca Field C16 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Available now from SimMarket, and as we round this one out, I do want to say thank you very much once again to Flyte Simulations for providing me the review copy of this scenery today to bring to you guys. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget as always to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search Novawing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.